Here with a look at Bitcoin. Gonna take a look and see where this thing is more than likely going right now. All right, looks like it's rolling over. It came up, hit our 702 Fibonacci level, and it's getting rejected. All right, looks like possibly an ABC going down here. First thing I do want to show you here, we'll look at some price targets here in a second. Bitcoin dominance. All right, this came up, hit our box on the 4-hour here, and look at this, getting rejected right off there, right off the 702, right where we drew this. I don't know, we drew this I don't know how long ago. If we put it on a daily, we put it when it started bouncing back up. All right, we knew it was going to get the, that's typically what happens. All right, you get your breakdown, you get a retracement back up, retest this area as resistance, and then you roll over. Okay, Bitcoin dominance hit our 702 right on the dot. We put a fib on here, pull it down. Okay, right about there. You can see it hit that white line. That's our 702 Fibonacci level, and got hit. This is on the daily. Now it's starting to lose the 50-day moving average. All right, so pretty big news. All right, this is when this really, when it takes out the 61.9 roughly down here, that's huge. All right, then you got the 200-day moving average down here. This yellow line is the big one. All right, that's the trend that it's been holding for over 2 years now. All right, it comes the whole way down here, November of 2022. All right, we have hit here, we have hits up here, and then it went parabolic for the blow up of the Bitcoin dominance. All right, so looking for a drop in this thing. We'll see what happens here. I have an alarm set on it for when it breaks this box, but alt season, that's what we're waiting for, right? We had our 5 waves inside this blow up top, and that's, we're getting excited, guys. The time is coming when these crypto bubbles, when these numbers are going to look like this, you know, daily sometimes, you know, 50%, 60. So, yeah, I've seen numbers like this in a day. This is for the month, right? Okay, on the day, that little tiny drop is starting to get some stuff popping off, right? That's what happens, you know. And Bitcoin price will keep going up, and dominance will keep falling, all right? And these numbers are going to explode. All right, we had some nice trades over in Discord, you know, off of this. I'll just show you a couple. If you want to join it, it's a level 3 membership. It's in the description of the video. There's a pile of trades out there posted today. Did almost a 3x on Gala, May 27th. Nailed 4 nice ones today. You know, so like I said, it's a level 3. It's 15 bucks. You get 10 hours of videos to teach you how to start charting and look for price targets. That's almost a 2x on a Myra long. And there's 2 other ones there. I'm not gonna mess with it, but we have about 170 members in there. All right, so come join us, man. I just posted this render, this wedge here. You know, it's forming on here, getting close to breaking down here. You know, had a fake out to up here. You know, it's testing this lower range now. You know, we'll see what happens with it, but I put that out there, getting a lot of sell pressure down here on the volume. So looking for a short here maybe pretty soon, but we'll let it break down, right? I like getting, a lot of times I'll get the break. I'll jump in right there as soon as it breaks, because I like getting that first push, then I'll sell. Then it comes back up. This is where you want to get in, right here, and then ride it down. Okay, if it drops, we'll see what happens. No guarantees, might head out the top, wait for the break. All right, but that's what you get. I posted like 6 or 7 of them over there. Now, Bitcoin dominance, let's take a look at Bitcoin. All right, you know, 93% of Bitcoin is mined, right? Isn't that crazy? 93%. And the schedule, once it gets down, so far, we have 116 years to go, all right, till it runs down to 0. Right over here, I want to show you this. Pretty cool. please hit that like and subscribe, guys. If you feel like it, there's a buy me a coffee down there. Thank you to the people that did. I really appreciate that. It's pretty crazy. I had a bunch of people do it. Thank you so much, and I mean that. I really do. The Bitcoin halving schedule. All right, 2024 is right here. 3.125. 20 years from now, it's going to be down to 0.0976. All right, 2140. That's when it runs out. And is that 115 years? We have to, none of us will be around, but be pretty crazy, especially when it gets down to 0.00000018. What is Bitcoin going to be worth then? I'm curious. I have another, who knows, maybe 30, 40, 50 years left on this earth. I'm curious. 2024, 34, maybe I'll see 2060 or something like that, in this range here. Kind of curious what it, be well below a bit, even below a half a Bitcoin, quarter Bitcoin. Started out with 50. 2009, block reward was 50 Bitcoin, then 25, then 12, then 6, and we're only on our 5th halving. We're down to 3.12, so we're at 93.75%, and then it's going to be at 99 from 2036, to 2136 for 100 years. It's going to be at 99%. Pretty crazy, right? Then they're expecting it to run on, after it's all mined, on fees. When it's fully mined, they're expecting it to, when miners drop off the network, which in turn triggers a difficulty adjustment. Every 2016 blocks, roughly every 2 weeks, the network recalibrates mining difficulty using a parameter known as nbits. The goal is to keep block times steady at around 10 minutes, regardless of how many miners are competing. So if Bitcoin's price drops or the reward becomes too small relative to operating costs, electricity costs more than you're getting mining. Inefficient miners simply exit. This causes difficulty to fall, lowering the cost for those who remain. The result is a system that continually rebalances itself, aligning network participation with available incentives. Now, when China banned Bitcoin mining, the hash rate dropped 50%. In a matter of weeks, yet the network continued to function without interruption. And within a few months, the hash rate recovered. People packed up their miners, put them in U-Hauls, and got out of China, right? And they resumed operations in jurisdictions with lower energy costs and more favorable regulations. Yeah, if I had a bunch of money in miners, you know what I mean? 100, 200, 300. I know one of the guys in our Discord, he sent me pictures of his mining setup. It's unbelievable. I never seen anything like it. He opened, he sent me a video. He opens up his door to his room, and all you see is miners. That's it. You don't see a wall, anything. It's unbelievable. It's a very, very professional setup, and he's like 24 years old. It's unbelievable. Critically, the idea that lower rewards will inherently threaten network security overlooks how mining is tied to profit margins, not nominal Bitcoin amounts. As long as the market price supports the cost of hash power, even at 0.78125 Bitcoin per block, that's the post-2028 halving, or lower, miners will continue to secure the network. In other words, it's not the absolute reward that matters, but whether mining remains profitable relative to cost. And thanks to Bitcoin's built-in difficulty adjustment, it usually does. Even a century from now, when the block reward approaches 0, the network will likely still be protected by whatever combination of fees, base incentives, and infrastructure efficiency exits at that time. But that's a distant concern. In the meantime, the current system hash rate adjusts, difficulty rebalances, miners adapt. Remains one of the most robust elements of Bitcoin's design. All right, and there's Bitcoin's emission rate versus time. So, you know, in 100 years from now, Bitcoin might be worth, you know, 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, who knows, right? So just the fees, from buying and selling, will make it worth it for the miners more than likely. Can you imagine sending $10 million worth of Bitcoin? You know, what the fees would be worth. Check this out. On April 20th, 2024, following the launch of the Runes protocol, Bitcoin miners earned over $80 million in transaction fees in a single day, surpassing the $26 million earned from block rewards. This marked the first time in Bitcoin's history that transaction fees alone exceeded the block subsidy in daily miner revenue. And it did it by a lot. 80 million to 26 million. 36, 46, 56, by $54 million. That's a lot, right? So, you can go on to read this if you would like. Just pause it and check it out. Pretty interesting article, actually. I always kind of wondered myself, how much is left to mine and all that, and what happens when it runs out. It even says here, now compare that to gold. Around 85% of the world's total gold supply has been mined. Around 85%. Approximately 216,265 metric tons, according to the World Gold Council. But nearly all of it remains in circulation or is held in vaults, jewelry, ETFs, and central banks. Gold can be remelted and reused. Bitcoin cannot be resurrected once access is lost. And what they're talking about is Bitcoin that has been lost out there. They estimate between 3 and 3.8 million Bitcoin. Roughly 14 to 18% of the supply is likely gone for good. People that forgot their passwords, misplaced their wallets, destroyed hard drives, or early adopters who never touched their coins again. Can you imagine? Does anybody remember that guy that threw his, it was his laptop or whatever, it got taken to the dump, and he got permission from the dump to go look for it, and he never did find it. Look up that article, man. A man loses Bitcoin hard drive in dump, and read it. It's pretty interesting. Feel bad for the guy. But how about that one that forgot his password, had all that Bitcoin? I remember that, and a guy tried to crack it for him, and there's some very interesting articles out there about that. And then Satoshi Nakamoto alone holds over 1.1 million Bitcoin. 1.1 million Bitcoin Satoshi Nakamoto owns. I don't think it's ever been touched, his wallet. Pretty crazy, right? Imagine that. Imagine being this guy and having 1 million Bitcoin, or group, or whoever Satoshi Nakamoto was, or is. Pretty crazy. I would love to know. But right up here is the mining schedule. If you want, pause it, take a look at it. It's pretty awesome to read and check over. And there you go. How much Bitcoin's left to mine. Thought it was interesting, so I thought I'd go over that with you guys. All right, let's go over here to the chart. And now, if this thing does an ABC, where's the target at? Okay, we can pull it down here on top of the 618. That will give us a target down here about 105, a little above 105, right about down here, 105, 105, 105.2, somewhere in that area, right? We're expecting a bottom. We'll put a little block here. Right about there. That's where would be expecting this thing to go. Somewhere in this area here. We'll pull this over. There we go. Okay. Now, if it takes out this top up here, right? If it ends up coming up here and exceeding, 110.5, and takes that out, well, then we're looking obviously at higher prices here. then it would mean it's heading up to about 115. 115 would be the next target up there. Let's open this up a little bit here, okay? Now, if you look down through here, we'll go back on the daily. All right, you can see this trend line has been holding for quite a while, since back here, April 2025, yeah, early April, you know, so you had all of April. We're towards the end of May, you know, and possibly looking for a rollover here. But the big thing is Bitcoin has made it through, you know, the 618 and 702 on this bigger chart here. It's made it through the danger zone here, right here. Right, this is always the area I say, you know, when you get a retrade or a run up, you got to get through there, and we're the whole way up here. You know, so we're going to be looking for 130,000 here. But in the short term, like I said, we could get an ABC here. Right, you could get a retracement down here. Takes out that 107. What is that? 107. 107,570 roughly. 107.5, call it. You know, then you're looking for 105. All right, that would be an ABC, and then the next target after that, you would have an A, a B, and a C. Okay, and then we would, after that correction is over, next target up would be about 116. All right, but that would crack our trend line here too. All right, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on that and make sure, you know, maybe it's a wick down through here. We just get a wick down here to touch and bottom and go. All right, but the 4-hour RSI heading straight down. All right, you got the 8. You know, not looking real strong. Down the bottom, it is rolling over. The 12 rolling over. It's bearish. 23 and a 26, and then your daily. The daily is actually at bullish, 19 and a 14. All right, so keep your eye on Bitcoin. You know, if it heads down there, you know, right now it is at, where are we at right now? 109.1. All right, so it'd be about a $4,000 drop here. And percentage-wise, I think it's about 4%. 3.5 now. It's come down a little bit since I did the last video here. Yeah, but the 50-day moving average here. Let's go into daily. Where's that 50 at? Alright, it's way down here. It's way down here. We've had a golden cross here too on the daily. Yeah, we've had the 50 cross the 200. That's good. Alright, the 50 is the red and the 200 is the green. This is called a golden cross. Alright, that's good to see. Right back here, you had the 50 above the 200, then we had the, you know, that's called a death cross down here because we had this run down. But yeah, we flipped back above, we flipped back over. That's what you want to see here. You want to see the 50 above the 200 on the daily. And on the weekly, we probably still not. Oh yeah, 50 is way above the 200 on the weekly. So Bitcoin's looking good, man. Overall, you know, this thing should be heading up towards 130 pretty soon. So keep your eye on this. Please hit that like and subscribe, guys. Consider that level 3 membership and the buy me a coffee. And if you're looking for a trading site, Bitunix is in the description of the video, and there's also a couple other ones that I use. I'd appreciate it if you use them links. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for watching.